Now to this week's special report. When quantum physicist Michelle Simmons was named Australian of the Year, it was rare recognition for women who reach the top levels of science. This week, a survey of professional scientists found that while the wage gap is smaller than in other careers, women have fewer opportunities for promotion. Half the women surveyed said they'd experienced discrimination. Now, a program being rolled out across more than 40 universities and institutes is hoping to turn that problem around, setting new targets and introducing more flexible work conditions. Social Affairs correspondent Norman Hermont reports.
Muireann Irish is a cognitive neuropsychologist at the top of her field. Work-life balance is always a struggle. So is the constant worry about her career path.
So the question is always lingering, and you think, I'll just get one more grant, I'll just try and get this next paper or this next big project going.
She did get that big grant from the Australian Research Council. Soon after, she fell pregnant.
And so when you step out, there's this instant fear that you're going to be forgotten, that your research is going to slow down. And in fact, it's not even the period of maternity leave that does the damage, it's more the trying to catch up. Do you want to have a chat?
Yeah.
When she took maternity leave, the funds to pay for her research assistant stopped. So did her project. Muireann had to start over and now heads her own research team at another university. She knows for many other women in science and medicine, career breaks can be a career killer.
And the system itself is so competitive that it's not geared up well to support any kind of break or deviation from that plan.
This is what those fighting for greater gender diversity in higher education are up against. It's called the scissor graph. In the humanities, it shows there are many more women than men taking bachelor degrees. Up until mid-levels of academia, numbers are about equal. But then women fall away. The most senior tenured faculty are 70% male. In the sciences and medicine, it's even more of a boys' club at the top, 80% male. Across Australia, more than 40 universities and institutes are part of a new program to fix that imbalance.
At that point, we were really educating people about how you fix the system.
Macquarie University in Sydney is preparing for the new SAGE Science in Australia Gender Equity program. They plan to recruit more women in science and engineering and boost the numbers of female staff progressing through the ranks.
One of the topics was the pay gap.
Harriet Jones worked on the model for the program in the UK, where universities have met real targets and in some cases achieved real change.
If you see it as a tick box exercise, that's all it will be. But if you see it as a way of really changing the systems and the culture of your institution, then I think it can have a huge impact.
Once Macquarie's plan is approved, it will have to prove it's actually working to stay in the program. It's a data-driven process that appeals to these PhD students in the sciences.
It's incredibly disheartening to have a look at that graph and go, the likeliness of me getting a position as a professor are very low.
Both have already thought hard about how having a family might affect what their male professors have suggested is the ideal career path.
And by the time you were 35, I think they said, and you'll be, a professor, you'll have tenure, you'll have job security. And I put my hand up and I said, oh, that's all well and great, but when do I have a family in there? And they had no answer for me. They didn't know what to say.
Muireann Irish didn't have the answer either when she returned to work after her son was born.
But I did have that sort of crisis where I didn't know actually if I could keep doing this.
This is the scissor graph. This is why women drop out.
That's exactly that point. Yeah, I was exactly at that point where the two lines start to diverge and very talented and capable women select or are pushed or opt out.
What's needed, she says, is more flexibility and tolerance so more women can thrive in the sciences. Now universities have the chance to show how they plan to provide just that. Norman Hermont, ABC News.